The fourth step of evidence-based practice is actually using the evidence. So this is a clinician from UCSF Medical Center, Oliver Tremblay, and this is a real nurse in real patient care. This was actually not a stage photo, and he'll be embarrassed that I say he's photogenic, but he is very photogenic. I just happened to walk onto this ward because I was early for a meeting, and the conference was down, the meeting I was going to was in a conference room down the hall, but I was there uncharacteristically early. So I said, I'm just going to go check out the ward. So I just walked around the corner and just walked up and down the hallway, and I saw him in a patient's room. I didn't know him. He's just a nurse working on a computer, but I saw a JBI product on the screen. I'm like, wow. So I walk in there and I say, can I take your photo? And he's like, yeah, I get. And there's a patient in the bed. I'm sure the patient thought that was a little peculiar or whatever. So I took his photo, and then I said, what are you doing with this thing that's up on the screen? What is this about? And he said, well, I've been newly appointed to the Pressure Ulcer Prevention Committee for my unit, and I heard JBI had some good resources on that, so I'm going here to check them out. Oh my gosh, I was so happy to hear that. So he in fact was looking at a best practice information sheet, which is one of the tie-in products that JBI staff and the authors of these systematic reviews create. They're based off of a systematic review. So a systematic review can be 100+ pages, right, with all the evidence tables and all of the information that goes into it. A busy clinician probably is not going to read that on their lunch break, right? They're not going to say, hey, I'm interested in pressure ulcer prevention. I think I'm just going to, in my 10 minutes of lunch, read this systematic review. But they might read the best practice information sheet because it's 4 pages long and it's bigger font and it cuts to the chase. It talks a little bit about how the systematic review was conducted, who is the population. It talks about that, but then it tells you the bottom line recommendations. And in this particular question, this is what you need to do to prevent pressure ulcers based off of the systematic review. So that is really a beautiful piece of evidence that clinicians can use at the point of care every day. Now, we don't have them for every clinical problem. That's because we do more systematic reviews on every clinical problem. So these are tie-in products based off of existing systematic reviews. So if you can see, if you go on to JBI and you see something there's a gap, that just means that systematic review needs to be written. So that's something that we all need to hear so that we can all work on that systematic review together. But the best practice information sheets are really, truly beautiful, and clinicians use them and should use them more often. The fifth step is evaluating the practice change. If in fact a change was made based upon evidence, then how do you evaluate that the change was effective and it sort of has traction and lives? This is off of the Ovid. When you go to more EBP tools and you click on that, you'll get this screen. I want to sort of focus on the red section that says quality improvement and draw your attention to JBI PACES at the very top. Again, time doesn't allow me to go over all of the other JBI product, but I really believe PACES is important and I want to underscore it. So PACES is a tool that enables clinicians to do audits and to track them more easily. It's mobile friendly, so this can be on iPads. We did some of our PACES data collection off of iPads. I haven't tried it on a phone. It's a pretty small screen, but I presume it would work. And of course, it can be done just on any computer. So if you see here at the very top under audit, it talks about what this particular audit was done on early rheumatoid arthritis management. And if you look under cycle, it says it's the baseline cycle. So this is their pre-data collection, and this team went and they used these audit criteria and they said yes or no, yes it's present, no it's not, or not applicable. If they set up their design such that they knew number 3, the criteria 3 never applied in their population, you can do an NA. So they collect their pre-data. In my pre-data, you'll see at the very top there are tabs. There's compliance report, then there's GRIP project team. So GRIP is a piece that sort of is sandwiched. You collect your pre-data, then you do GRIP, and then you collect your post-data. GRIP is getting research into practice, and that's a piece of the program that lets you lay out who your stakeholders are, what you anticipate to be some of the obstacles or challenges, what your intervention is, and who you're going to bring in to help you do that. And so it pulls together sort of your project planning or your project management, and then you have really a sort of a nice executive summary that you can print out and send on to your executive stakeholders. They're saying, when is that report? I need it now. What are the answers? You can send that to them saying, we're working on it. We've got a multidisciplinary group together, we've had our first meeting, we've got a plan, and we're going to do this intervention, and we think that will improve our audit results. This is a nurse, Amy Dunn, who is collecting data for a large multi-center PACES project out of JBI, and we wanted to be involved because we wanted to get our feet wet with PACES, and it was a really positive experience for us. And so she actually did most of her data entry through iPads, but in this particular case it was a bad photo. This was a stage photo, and I made her stand by a regular computer for this. This is just showing you, now you've done some post data collection. So the gold bar shows you your pre. Okay, you're hanging in the 40s, and the criteria 4, you're down at 25%. Boo. But then they put some intervention in place. If we look to the GRIP project team and we looked at that GRIP thing, we could find out what they did. But I don't have access to that. But we can see that their post data, they're up to 100% compliance on all criteria. Amazing. So it just, again, helps you to audit and keep track of it. And they have these very easy, these reports are easy to generate and send out to your stakeholders. So it's a really nice, user-friendly product that's helpful in healthcare. The Clinical Fellows Program is a short program offered by the Joanna Briggs Institute, and I believe Singapore and now the San Francisco Center are other centers that offer this program. We'll be starting our first Clinical Fellows Program in September. And this is really to train people on PACES and to train them how to do a rapid cycle small test of change using PACES to track put an intervention in place, gather the post, and sort of continue until you have traction to solve your issue.